darlings. Welcome back. Um, so today I'm going to be talking about things that are going to help you memorize mostly the major arcana of tarot. So it's broken up into two sections, the major arcana and the minor arcana. And the major arcana has the trump cards. They are like the main juiciness of the tarot deck. Not to say that the minor arcana doesn't have juiciness, but these usually represent like a major part that might be happening in your life, maybe like a major choice that you have to make, or what have you. Um, and then the minor arcana they're called the pip cards. So that is kind of like say you're looking at like a regular deck of cards. You know how they have like the court cards with like king, queen, jack, and ace. Um, the the pip cards are kind of similar to a regular deck of cards. So they have the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. And they also have numbers from ace to 10. So yeah, 78 cards. um, so right now I'm going to focus on the major arcana. And a lot of people have trouble learning the cards because it's just very overwhelming. There's 78 cards. If you want to do reversals, then it's kind of like however you memorize that, whatever, because there's different versions you can do in order to read reversals. There's like a million different ways you can read it. So I'm just gonna let you know what the different options that you have. So the first way to kind of help you memorize it is the Fool's Journey or the Hero's Journey. So this is the Fool. It's kind of shiny. I'm sorry, guys. So this is the Fool, and you see it says 0 here. So this represents like this Fool is like your journey through life. So all of these major arcana cards, this card is going to represent yourself or the hero, and then they're going to interact with each card one by one to kind of like help you what they represent. So when you see the Fool and you see 0, you are going to automatically think, okay, 0, like just kind of like the conception, like brand new idea, kind of like twinkle in the eye, just starting out. Novice is like a big thing. It's this card kind of like represents taking like a leap of faith. You have to kind of look at it and really see. This is where like intuition also takes over as well. So you want to be able to look at this card and you can point out specific things, like they're right about to come off of this cliff right here, right? So it's kind of, this card's kind of about taking a leap of faith. So it's just starting off the journey, and you can choose to kind of like turn back, or you can choose to take the leap but then not fully go through with it and then kind of like fall to your demise. It's kind of extreme, but it's just to help you. It's not you. It's just to help you understand how to work it. So, or you could fly. Or you could fly. So, you really want to pay attention to the numbers. It will help you. Learning the card in an intuitive manner, I would look a lot in, the colors of the card, the facial expressions on the Fool, how the lines are depicted. The colors of the card, I feel, are a huge part in learning how to do the major arcana or tarot cards in general. I feel like the colors, not a lot of people talk about the colors in decks. This is very green, and back in the day they used to call like novices or people who weren't very experienced, mostly men, of course, as like green boys. So green boys are very inexperienced. They're kind of naive and things like that. And I see a lot of green represented here. So it's really like fresh, brand new. There's the zero. So, you know, each deck is different. This is the thing. I would suggest you pick a deck that really, really speaks to you. And that's also like a good practice for your intuition. I would pick a deck that really, really speaks to you, something that you're insanely interested in and it just like pulls you. And stick with that deck for a while so you really learn, and you learn like the colors. You can really kind of like study with it and kind of like get to know the deck. This deck that I'm using is actually the first deck I ever bought for myself. I will link it below. I think it's Liz Dean, the Golden Tarot. I know there's a different tarot deck that's also called the Golden Tarot, I believe. But it's not that one. This one's different. I found it at like Barnes and Noble. So yeah, I'll try and find it and link it below if any of you are interested. So back to this. So as the Fool goes on his journey, he is going to encounter different people of the major arcana. So the next one is the Magician. So the fool is gonna come and be like, "Hey, magician, what's up?" You know, you kind of like make a little bit of a story to help you understand, and you know, maybe the fool sees them like with all these tools and like the infinity symbol above his head, and very interested. And this card is very much about like honing your skills, having all of the potential to become something great, and kind of like mastering those different things in your life. So this is kind of like the twinkle in the eye, and this is kind of conception, I should say. This is kind of like the conception of like manifesting, you know, different things in your life that you may want or need. So yeah. Just looking at my notes real quick. Give me a second. Yeah, so that's pretty much the Fool's journey, you know, and the Fool will go on to pardon me, oh, my nose is itchy. Different through the major arcana, and which each thing, you know, you kind of have to look it up and see where, you know, what the cards kind of mean as well, what they represent, the symbolism in it. The internet is like wonderful for that. I swear, if you type in Fool's Journey, a million things will come up. A million things. There are videos on it. There are, I don't know if there are books on it, but there's definitely a lot of internet speak about the Fool's Journey, and that is just one type of way to learn it. I kind of learned it that way. I did not really do the Fool's Journey for the Major Arcana. I was just so excited to be a part of the tarot world that I jumped right in. I would just give myself readings every day. I would give other people readings, even though I was so new at it, and I would pull the cards and then go back into the book and like read the book. I still, you know, have to kind of go back depending on the deck. But I just, you know, I did that over and over and over again, and that's how I learned. I'm mostly like a hands-on learner. I do like to research, but while I research, you know, I have to write things down, so that's more hands-on for me. So the way that I learned all of the tarot cards was I would sit down with the deck, and I would break it up into the major arcana, and then each of the pips in their own sections. So wands, pentacles, swords, and cups. Again, those names vary due to different decks. Some decks use different ones. Some use coins instead of pentacles, and staves instead of wands, and you know, chalices instead of cups. So it's different things like that. But usually it's wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. So I would sit down. I would break those things up, and I would go through the major arcana, and I would take, let's say I take the Fool, right? And I would look it up in the white book that it came with, or, you know, whatever book that it came with. And I would write down some key words, that maybe like one key word that really stood out to me in that book. because I kind of felt like the book came with it for a reason. Sometimes it can be very dry, and sometimes the book can be very like, I'm like, I don't even know how to pronounce that word. Like, what does that even mean? You know? And yeah, so I would look it up, and it's like whatever feels the easiest for you, whatever's going to come easiest to you. Then I would go into a different book, and I would look up the Fool, and I would see whatever word came to me for in that book, and I'm like, oh yes, that feels right for this particular card. I really feel like it means, it means this, like taking a leap of faith or whatever it is for the Fool. And then what I would do is I would kind of meditate on the card for a while. I would look at it, and just kind of maybe write down a few words that really popped out to me, what I thought, like the first thoughts that came to my mind about whatever particular card I was working with, and I would write that down. So it would be usually about 3 to 4 words in total for the upright. Now, because I absolutely love reading reversals, I I would go back again. Usually the white book doesn't come with reversal meanings, so I have a totally separate book for that. I would go in, look at it, see, again, do the same steps, and then again, like kind of look at it upside down, see what came to me, right? So, and then I would do that for each card in the Major Arcana, each card in the Wands, pip cards, cups, swords, pentacles. So a lot of writing. That's how I learned. I don't know if that's helpful for you guys, but it really helped me. And then I have my different cheat sheets. I do that with every single deck that I have, because every deck is different. Every deck speaks differently to me, and every deck has its own different energies. So this deck, actually, I call it my no shit deck, because I usually use this deck when you kind of need to be told, you need some tough love, and this is my tough love deck for sure, for sure. I've been told, I've been told so hard from this deck. So yeah, the next thing I kind of want to talk about real quick are the books that I use. I really do feel like that would be helpful. The book that I'm using right now, which has been like a major, wonderful, scrumptious, hefty book, is Holistic Tarot. Now, Holistic Tarot is a mighty, mighty book. I mean, I'm not even halfway through it, but this book is phenomenal. It talks about psychology and tarot together, and this book right here is exactly how I read tarot. Really, like, even before I knew about this book, I was trying to read tarot like this, and this is just full of like delicious, juicy information. I mean, like, look at all that. Look at all that. The next book I use is not a tarot book, but I do use it because it's the book of symbols. And what is tarot but a deck of symbols, So a lot of the times, and because also I'm working on my own deck, I really want to put some symbolism, some juicy, juicy symbolism in my deck, and really kind of utilize that portion of it to understand more. And I just feel like, symbolism is gigantic, especially in psychology as well. Whew, yeah, sorry, technical difficulties. Yeah, so this book is beautiful, beautiful. Yes. Another book I use is Tarot Reversals by Mary Kay Greer, and she is awesome in the community. I don't have it offhand. I don't know where I put it. But yeah, another great book, and another book that I hear a lot about, but I've never really experienced or had, was Tarot 101 by Kim Huggins. Even though I've never read anything from her, I saw her interview with Joanna DeVoe, and it was awesome, awesome. Lovely ladies right there. And I'll link that below. I'll see if I can find it. So that's all, guys. Thank you for checking in, and I'll Speak to you soon. Bye. Mwah.